community because we used to run loads of different events with like different creatives and founders. And our campus product, like our first, I don't want to say experiment because like it's very much what we're committing all our time to right now, but it's us in this journey to help people spend more time offline is Uni, which is this campus app which shows students everything that's going on and who they know that's going, and then lets them also buy tickets to events and sign up in the same place.
And was that why did you start that? Was it a place of pain? Was it a place of pain? Because, you know...
Stephen Bartlett singing.
Yeah, exactly. Was it a place of pain? Was it a case of that wasn't there when you were at uni and you wanted to fill that gap?
Yeah. Definitely. Omar and I had different stories for why we wanted to start uni. I would say from mine, there's kind of like two pathways which led me there. One, I've always had this kind of bizarre relationship with social media.
Okay.
When I was 14, I noticed that all of my friends were getting really obsessed with it, and so was I. And I was posting like the most ridiculous selfies or bikini pictures, and I was obsessed with how many likes I got. And I started to realize that it was completely taking over my sense of self and my sense of who I was. And I only thought I had friends if I had likes. And I was like, well, that's pretty sad. Yeah. And so as everyone moved from Facebook onto Instagram and like started getting Snapchat and all of this kind of stuff, I was like, I'm just never going to get any of these apps. So I never did. And I've never had Instagram to this day. I now have a company one, but I've never had a personal Insta or Snap or anything. Yeah. And I kind of spent all of my teens just trying to find the best ways to connect people away from their phones, partly because I wasn't in the phone world. Yeah. Like loads of people knew each other from Instagram or from that kind of communication world, and I didn't. So I think I like hosted loads of parties, did all this stuff because I was like, come, still be my friends. Exactly. And in the back of my head, I was like, there must be a better way. This cannot be social. Like, it's not social media, it's media. Can we please stop calling it social media? It's media platforms. And like, I love them for media and marketing. I love creating content. But it's not, I'm not kidding myself. I don't think it's social at all. And that's why I want to build an actual sustainably social platform. And then when I got to uni and I realized there was all of this incredible social activity going on, but there was no place to find it. Yeah. And it was scattered across this myriad of different platforms. And that's really what Omar found as well. Like a lot of people have a very lonely university experience.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I would say it depends how you define lonely. You can be surrounded by people and be very lonely.
I'm saying it from a place of, going out, going to the club, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of like finding yourself and finding your people. But really what uni is about, as in the app, and I would say the experience is not just like the nightclubs, but like all of the societies. It's like the last opportunity you have in life to pretend to be loads of different things. Like you can go to law society and pretend to be a lawyer and figure out what you want to do and find all these communities of incredible people that once you leave uni, it's quite hard to get into, like, go experiment with different art skills or sports or even cultures. And that side, once you step into it, it's an absolute world. But so few people do, or they have a couple friends which pull them to different events and they're like, oh my God, this is eye-opening. And we wanted to make that part of experience, the extracurricular, more part of the core experience for everyone.
Interesting. I always thought that unis did a good job at that. You hear the law societies playing the medics team for football, or you've got different events going on. But obviously, I did a degree apprenticeship, so I wasn't fully immersed in the whole uni experience. I was only there like a week periodically, so I was never there full time. Okay. So all of this going to events, I have no clue about. I just hear from my brothers and sisters. They have law society, they have this society. So it's interesting that there is a...
I mean, you're right. They do a great job at it existing, and it's all student-led, and students are incredible at organizing themselves in different communities. But from like a tech perspective, it's really disorganized, and it's actually really difficult to find what's happening and who's going. And it's amazing that it keeps going with the strength that it does, despite the like really, just I would say disorganized kind of logistical side of it all. And I would say it's also gotten worse.
Oh, really?
yeah, in terms of post-COVID
Yeah, I guess
and
so.
just like student isolation and people not seeing what the older years did because they had that whole gap in their student experience where they didn't see what clubs they did or what societies or whatever, and people have become more introverted. So, and I mean, you can see that with regards to numbers of people being part of stuff and people attending events. It's just happening less, and so we want to buck that trend.
So do you sell to, is it more to students, or do you actually sell to like universities and try to promote it through that as well?
No, we've decided to do bottom up rather than go top down.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that universities themselves are incredible institutions, but they are institutions and they're quite slow. And there's I mean, we've spoken, when we first started building, we spoke to the kind of like official tech team of Oxford, and they were like, yeah, guys, crack on. Like, the social scene's not really our vibe. Like, you got this.
Yeah.
We're gonna do all the academic stuff. And you know, the university doesn't need to condone or condemn whether students use Facebook or Instagram or anything. So it's not really their domain. So and also I love working with all of the students and like the campus side, and they're like who really run it. So that's who we want to be close to.
Yeah, I kind of got a gist as to your journey, but let's paint a picture for those listening.
Okay.
16-year-old Georgia. You kind of explained it, that you were kind of already in the space of wanting to develop this app. Where were you heading? What was your goals? Did you think that you would be in the position that you are today? Like, kind of run us through that path of
From 16.
From 16.
Okay, so 16, I was at secondary school, and I was doing my GCSEs. Oh, I was like crazy. No, that's potentially not very kind to myself. I was very obsessive as a 16, 15, 14-year-old.
Okay.
Basically, I'm a very passionate person, which comes with its pros and cons, and I go all in on things. And at that time, it was kind of like fitness.
Okay.
And because I wanted to be like the best in all the sports teams, and I just thought it was something that I could just have this like never ending getting better and better and better at. And I was always wanted to like optimize different areas of my life, and that was like my one at the time. But it got very like addictive and like unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then I also was like, oh, I'm gonna get like straight, like I'm just that kind of person where I was like, okay, I'm gonna get 100% all my GCSEs, that kind of stuff. Got very obsessed with that. And then when I hit 17, I was like, George, you need to like find a way to live a more balanced lifestyle where you don't do extremes. I'm still working that out. Hashtag Whoop, helping me get that. But yeah, so, and then I've always been like a builder. Like I would always just pick something. And another thing at 16 that I did actually that I think was quite pivotal to my entrepreneurship journey in a weird way is that very sadly one of my teachers' little boy died of cancer really fast. Like, he was put into hospital for a cold and then he died. And I just remember like how she was like a very close teacher, and it really just like impacted my year. But then there wasn't any follow up, and I just remember being like, why aren't we like doing something about this? Like, there needs to be an event or like a cause or something. And I remember asking around, and it was that was one of my first realizations of, okay, George, if you think something needs to exist and it doesn't, then just do it. You don't need to wait or think like, oh, why isn't someone else going to do this? And like, maybe it's because you're the person to do it. So I put on this big school event. It was like a 12-hour cycle ride, got t-shirts. The school tried to make me not do it.
They always do.
Which was, yeah. And I was like, what? Do you know what this is about? And it was, again, like I kind of went through a concentrated period of building something and seeing all the obstacles of the people at the top saying, no, don't do that. That's not how you run things. And I was like, we just need to make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. And that I kind of got the bug for just making things happen, I think. And from then on, I was just always solving problems with projects. So at university, I was part of a funk band. I did a play, and it was my favorite play I've ever seen. And then I said to one of my best friends at the time, I was like, let's put it on at uni. Like, we're surrounded by incredible actors. When else are we going to have the opportunity to be like, guys, let's do a play? It's like the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
And I rang up the publishing company to get the rights to do it, and they were like, no, you can't have it. And I rang them 20 times that day, and they were like, stop ringing. And I was like, it's going to be the best production you've ever seen. And they were like,
Yeah.
it's a student production. We really doubt that. And I was like, no, trust me. Then I found out that the lead actor of the play was in a performance in London the next week, reading some poetry. So I went and I found her outside the stage door backstage at the end. And I was like, I really want to put on the play you did over the summer at my university. They're not letting me have the rights. And I just remember her saying like, just find a way around it. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. Like, and then I looked in all of the forms of what it means to get rights and how you do it. And it's basically, you just can't do it as a play in like a theatre. So I did it as a private reading in a flat to a small group of invited individuals.
Yeah.
And we had like 3 sellout nights, and it was the most incredible experience. And we had, I mean, doing a play in a flat, we had to bring all the lights. We had to kick the people who were in the flat out every time we were rehearsing. On the night, they couldn't be in their flat. It was a nightmare from start to finish, but it was the most exhilarating creative experiences because there was so many restrictions.
Yeah.
And I started to love like that tension of like being told no or finding ways to do things when there is just seemingly no way.
And when you say that moment in your life was like, things are possible.
Yeah. And not just like things are possible, but you can make them happen. You can make them possible. Like it really is just down to how
Bad you want
how
it.
aggressively you push through the boundaries. Exactly how bad you want it. And how creative you are in the pursuit of your goal.
And would you say that that's when your mindset shifted from I want to now create this app, or not necessarily moments after, but that's what led you to be where you are today? That shift in, fuck, I did this and I had all these restrictions, all these circumstances that were telling me no, and I did it.
Yeah.
Was that the shift, or was it another moment in your life?
There was like loads of shifts because that just kept happening. Then in my year abroad, I went to live in Cuba during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Which was a crazy experience in like a very restrictive environment anyway, because they have quite a repressed political system, and then add a global pandemic on top of that. And I was like, oh, the university was like, you can't go to Havana during this time. And I was like, I'm going to go. Like, I need to go. When else are you going to be the only tourist in Havana? Like, that's crazy. So I went, and it was, again, like just incredible. And to see what other creatives do when they're faced with loads of restrictions, like freedom of speech restrictions that I had never even experienced before. So I think there was these loads of micro moments where I just realized like, I'm a sole agent and I can just like do stuff. But people ask me a lot like, oh, George, like, did you want to be a founder or an entrepreneur? I've never thought of it like that. I've never thought like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. In fact, I'm really surprised when anyone says that. Because like, it's not a good lifestyle. And I've just thought like, oh, I want to solve a problem. And in doing so, my current way that I'm doing it is by building a company, because it's a good way to solve a problem and make it more official. But I've never thought like, oh, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur when I'm older. I'm like, I just know that I'm going to devote my life to solving problems.
Yeah. And I think that's what an entrepreneur is. David, I had someone on, and I think his description of an entrepreneur is so great. An entrepreneur is someone that jumps off a cliff and builds a parachute on the way down.
Yeah.
And I think
I
think that when you really think about it and you break down what he said, like, first you've taken that leap of faith without knowing
where the hell you're going to land,
because
or
you don't
if you're
have
going
a
to land at
parachute or
all.
anything. Exactly. And then you somehow find ways to build a parachute when you're falling from the sky. I think it's just an amazing way. There's so many connections to how that relates to an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely.
And how long have you been in this industry now? Or how long have you been?
I find I can't even think of it as an industry. I know I'm not trying to be contrarian, but I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think of it. How long have I been? Well, I left uni 2 years ago, and I've been building the app ever since then.
Okay, so you've been in it for 2-3 years?
Couple years, yeah.
And if you could describe your journey in 3 words, what would those 3 words be? It can be from any point of the journey. It could be last 2 years, last 10 years, from when you had that moment of doing the play in the flat. And
Yeah. I don't know, like, I'm still going.
I'm still going, yeah.
I just think that, like, that's what it's about. It's just about just keep going with all of these things. And I think most really tough periods in any ambit of your life can be solved by just keep going. So I think that probably most sums up the experience so far.
The journey, just keep going. And I think it's so important that so many people just get hit with one obstacle. And I guess I can ask you, you must have a pretty strong why.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would just fall flat on their face the moment they become, or the moment they experience some sort of step back or failure. Do you feel like your purpose has played a big part of that phrase? Still keep going?
Yeah, hugely. I think the extent to which I have a strong why is like, it's at the point of delusion at this point. Like, I genuinely believe that I like have to do this, and I'm one of the only people that can. Not in an arrogant way. I'm so obsessed with this problem of helping to connect people offline to communities. I've been, without meaning to, preparing for it since I was 14 by just deciding to reject social media, by deciding to constantly build communities, run events. That I think I'm in one of the best mental headspaces of just like, I'm like an expert at this. I have so much to learn.
Yep.
But like this particular why, this particular purpose, I haven't met anyone who cares as much as me about this. Like, not an arrogant way. I think there's an extent to which you have to be deluded, because any logical person would be like, at this point, you should probably give up. And like, there's times when you're like, I should probably give up. This is so difficult.
But you've turned I don't know if you've read Think and Grow Rich, but in there he talks about you need to turn your burning desire into an obsession, which sounds like what you've done, and evidently that's not arrogant at all.
Yeah, no, I don't know, but I think I know lots of people are passionate about stuff, but I think you're right. It goes into obsession.
Yeah,
and then it's like I can't not build this.
And
like sometimes I wish I could not. Sometimes I wish I could just like leave it and like not care as much. Like my friends always say to me, like, George, like you can't stop caring about it. That's why you get so upset and like angry about when things don't go right, because there's just so much care there.
You're passionate.
Yeah,
that's it. You're
sometimes
passionate.
That's exhausting.
It can be,
as my woo will tell me.
Yeah, your stress levels are.
My stress monitor is like.
Yeah. But I don't think there's anything arrogant in knowing what your obsession is and what your purpose is. Just because someone else doesn't have it, the reason why people are telling you that is because they don't have the burning passion or the desire. You do. So stick with it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I will.
And evidently,
I can't help it.
Exactly. And that's not a bad thing, because when you are struck with adversity, you're just going to brush it off like water on a fish, right? So building this it's not an app, is it? I don't want to say
it is an app.
It's an app. Okay. So building this app, what would you say has been like the biggest learning curve in something that you thought, fuck, I didn't realize that this is what it takes to build an app?
So many learning curves. I think just the amount of understanding human psychology that's involved in consumer tech.
Yep.
And I kind of thought I had a good grasp of it. I didn't. Just really understanding what motivates people to do things and understanding how difficult it is to break habits and set new ones. And I think one of the most profound things that social media has done is that in general, I have this thing that I say where I think that social behaviors are broadly stimulated by three things: sex, status, and stalking. They're all quite negative. Well, sex is not, but let me break them down. So something like Instagram or Facebook and the like enabled us to grow our status with likes and followers, to stalk, to like pry on neighbors, exes, whatever, and to seek sexual partners without leaving the cave. That is so big for humans. If you can fulfill all of your social needs without putting yourself at risk, like, job done. That is exceptional. So for socializing. And that's so attractive for humans because we just want to avoid risks. We're always just like balancing risks, right? And so if I can get all of that and I haven't even had to leave my cave and put myself in danger, perfect. So the challenge is, how do you build a social network based on some raw animalistic instincts which trigger us to do things? And when we've got platforms like opposing that with very attractive options in the opposite direction. And how do you sometimes use potentially some of those flaws within us to promote positive behavior? And that's what I think it's about. So one of the core parts of the uni app is showing people who's going to events.
Okay.
Now, something that social media does is it creates FOMO in hindsight, right? It shows you what you missed out on. In a way, you could say uni creates FOMO in foresight because it shows you what you're going to miss out on. I mean, that's a slightly pessimistic view of the future, but it's like sometimes humans need that kick to be like, oh, all my friends are going. Of course I want to go.